Let's talk about that first lesson I learned from Jeshua and why it's still the greatest lesson I learned from Jeshua. Good morning, guys. It's John out here on my back deck on an absolutely stunning day. It is just beautiful out here. I have to say I'm so grateful to be able to come out and enjoy these days on the back deck rather than having a cold winter. I'm enjoying my coffee as I usually do. I just love being out here in the nature and hearing the birds chirp, which you probably can't hear because my software takes all background noise out. But the birds are chirping, the cars are driving by, there's all kinds of noise. And my software, which if people ask me about my software that I used to use Premiere. I recently switched to DaVinci Resolve. I am blown away how much better DaVinci Resolve is than Adobe Premiere. So much easier to use, and so it gives me a much better product in the end. So if anybody's curious what my editing software is, it's DaVinci Resolve. I wanted to hop on and talk about this idea of that first lesson I learned. I have a video on my channel called The First Lesson I Learned 2,000 years ago. And I recently went back and watched that video just to see. And I realized that the lesson that I learned, the first lesson I learned, was the greatest lesson. And it's still the greatest lesson for my personal life. When I look at that video and I look at that lesson, I realize that it is one of the key factors of why I am where I am. In fact, it is the only real factor as to why I am where I am. The first lesson was that I am the creator of my experience. The first lesson was that my own thoughts, my own beliefs are creating my outer experience. And in that regard, I came to the realization that I can live a beautiful, loving life, a beautiful, magnificently loving life, because I get to choose it. Because I get to choose it. When people are doing fearful or harmful things, they're not doing that because they want to choose it. They're doing that because they're in reaction to something that's happened to them, some fear-based thing that has happened to them. When they realize that they're the creator of their experience, they stop doing fearful things because they say they'd much rather live a joyful life. You know, everybody that you'll run into every day is either in action or reaction. If they knew they could create their world, they would create their life to have unconditional love. They would absolutely 100% create their life to have unconditional love. It's what everybody wants in some form, unconditional love. And to come to realize that I can create a world that's unconditionally loving around me and be the unconditional love that I can put out to everybody, then what happens is you end up getting more and more unconditional love in your life. Now, you're going to run into people in reaction all the time. People are going to be in reaction. But I will tell you, when you stop the resistance to people in reaction and you start just being the love and putting that love out there, creating the experience around you, you see many less of them. You see many less people who are reacting fearfully around you. Things tend to get easier around you because you are not in resistance to their fears and anxieties. Not being in resistance to their fears and their anxiety gives you the opportunity to give them an off-ramp to find unconditional love. People will just come and love you and adore you, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, people will just love being around you because you are being the unconditional love that they're all seeking. The greatest lesson was that I get to create that. I get to be that. I get to live into that. And that's scary for the people who are in reaction. You know, there are people come on here and just want to lash out and attack, right? I had someone just yesterday looked at my video on the Gospel of the Holy 12, which is a vegetarian propaganda from a couple of decades ago. And it was literally a propaganda for the vegetarianism. The guy came on to specifically say, well, you look pretty unhealthy, so you shouldn't be bashing vegetarians. Well, if you listen to the video, there was no bashing of vegetarians in there at all. But his reaction was to basically say that I'm unhealthy or fat because I'm not a vegetarian, because he was offended, fearful that I was saying something against vegetarianism. That's someone reacting to something I've said, right? Or something they superimposed over top of what I said for their own personal meaning or agenda. When people live in reaction, they're living in defense. So the second I even say the word vegetarian propaganda, they're offended before they listen to the video. So to me, when he came at basically calling me fat, I didn't in any way, shape, or form look at him in a negative way. I actually looked at him in a positive way. I said, well, he's in a fear based, he's in reaction, and I'm in action. And that's really the difference. The idea of being the creator of your experience and knowing that everybody wants to be loved unconditionally, including yourself, means that you have all the power. You have all the power to create your life in the way that you want to create your life. But only you can do it. You're the only one who has the ability to do it. And when you step into that power of creation within yourself and realize that you have that ability, then everything around you changes. But that lesson of knowing it is the tough part. We're in a world that has given us a lot of things to react to, and we're reacting fearfully to it, which makes us feel less worthy, makes us feel a lot of self-doubt. It gives us that experience that we're unable to create. We're struggling to create. I tell people all the time, the real key is when you realize that you're the creator of your experience, then you stop creating from past experience, which is reaction, and you start creating with what's coming into your experience, because you're choosing it. Your outcome is ahead of you, not behind. So you say, I am doing this, and it comes into your experience. I am doing this, and it comes into your experience. You start living in action, choosing that outcome that's coming into your experience, choosing that creation that's surrounding you, choosing the love that you are creating into the world, choosing the love that you're experiencing in the world, choosing the abundance you're experiencing in the world. Choosing. Choice and belief creates. Choice and belief creates. And so when you realize that you get to choose, and you're unlimited, your natural reaction is to create a joyful, loving life. Your natural reaction without limitations is to create a joyful, loving life. But when you look at the world from the perspective of, am I a creator? Am I an action hero or a reaction zero? The line that I've used for years. Am I an action hero or a reaction hero? What is a hero? A hero is someone who is recognized for doing extraordinary works for others, right? That's what a hero is. To be an action means to start momentum or start a motion. An action hero, creating momentum, starting a motion, helping other people in extraordinary ways. That's what an action hero is. What is reaction? Reaction is a Pavlovian response to an outer stimulus that you have no control over. So you're reacting to something from a place of survival or fight or flight. You're coming at it from this reactive mode. So now you're reacting to things, and the zero part means the hero part of it doesn't happen. Reaction zero. I'm reacting to things rather than actively doing extraordinary things in service of others. So you're having this experience of, am I an action hero or reaction zero? Am I reacting to things which limits my ability to create a joyful, loving life? Or am I choosing to say, okay, that's that. I am doing this. In my life, my experience with my father was not a great one. But it wasn't until I said that part of my life was over and now I am doing this that I started creating something new in my life, something more joyful in my life. And only you're the one who has that ability to create something new and joyful in your life. You're the only one. And that's the greatest lesson I learned. And I still, today, think it's the greatest lesson I learned, because it's the lesson that tells us that we're all empowered. We're all creative. Ye are gods. Ye are gods. Greater works than I have done, you will do. It is your faith that heals you. You can ask mountains to move, it'll move. Nothing's impossible for you. The greatest lesson I learned is that I'm the creator. And the greatest lesson I hope that you get from this is that you're the creator. No one else is creating your life for you unless you give them that power. No one can make you do anything without your permission. So you can choose to create, and you can choose to create a loving, joyful life that's abundant, surrounded by people you love, who love you in return, having a wonderful experience. And that's my thought on this whole first lesson I learned from Jeshua, and why it's still the greatest, because it is the expression of my life. It is the thing that dictates what I experience. And so that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.